Netflix is certainly no stranger to controversy. Multiple times, especially over the last several years, for one reason or another, they've found themselves in hot water with their audience. Usually it's over some sort of fictional story. But this time, it's a little bit different. This time, not only are they pushing identity politics, but they're doing it by race-swapping actual historical figures that mean a lot to certain people around the world, especially in Egypt. And that person is Cleopatra. We saw the reaction that Netflix got when they put out this trailer. Queen Cleopatra, official trailer Netflix. Look at the ratio. 364,000 dislikes to 28,000 likes. This is getting annihilated right now, and it got so bad they had to turn the comments off. And yeah, they got blasted all over the internet from every single part of the world, but especially in Egypt, where they said, look at what you're doing to our history. How dare you blackwash someone who's this important historical figure, all because you want to see yourselves in that person. You desperately are trying to lie to everyone. We saw Jada Pinkett Smith admit that the reason they did this is because they wanted to see black and brown queens. So instead of using one that existed, they decided to pretend like this one was a different race. We saw the director get backlash as well when she came out and said, why do you have a problem with it? Egyptians must just have a problem seeing themselves as Africans. This idiot got completely and totally destroyed. And now that this thing's gotten so bad, not only are there lawsuits to try to block Netflix in Egypt, but the Egyptian government is actually now being forced to respond and call this what it is: an absolute bastardization, absolute lies, and disgusting propaganda from Netflix. Cleopatra was not black, Egypt tells Netflix in growing feud ahead of new series. Egyptian experts reacted angrily to the upcoming series, adamant that the country's most famous queen was of Greek descent and light-skinned. And that is the truth. That's why they're mad about it. You're trying to change people's history, and you're acting like, why is that such a big deal? Imagine if I decided to tell a story about, I don't know, Martin Luther King Jr., but I decided to tell you he was actually white the whole time. There's some people that are probably pretty upset about that, I'd think. Well, the same is true when it comes to Egypt and Cleopatra. Egypt has accused Netflix of misrepresenting history by casting a black woman to play Cleopatra, its most famous historical figure, in a new series. Queen Cleopatra, which is released on May 10th, features Adele James in the lead role. A casting decision, the streaming giant says, is a nod to the centuries-long conversation about the ruler's race, but which officials in Cairo have dismissed as blatant historical fallacy. All actual serious historians, scholars, they all know that she was not black. They will tell you that she is not black. There's a very, very tiny microscopic portion of Afrocentric activists who will try to lie and say that it's something else. That's not actually argued this day and age. There's no historical evidence to back that up whatsoever. In fact, all the evidence points to her not being black. That's why Egypt is so mad right now. The government statement issued Thursday marked an escalation in a feud that sparked demands for the show's cancellation amid a broader debate over representation in pop culture. Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities argued the documentary nature of the features requires those in charge of its production to investigate accuracy and rely on historical and scientific facts. Coins and statues from the time show a light-skinned woman in keeping with Cleopatra's Macedonian Greek ancestry. Dr. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities. We're talking about government entities. Government entities in Egypt are responding to Netflix over all of this. They said in a statement that Cleopatra's appearance in the show was a falsification of Egyptian history and a blatant historical fallacy. That it's far from any ethnic racism, stressing full respect for African civilizations and for our brothers in the African continent. The fact that it's gotten to this point, where you have Jada Pinkett Smith basically admitting that this is fictionalized while still calling it a documentary. When you have the director trying to shame people in Egypt. Why do you have a problem that we decided to change her to black? What are you, racist? That's what this director did. Now you have lawsuits coming, try to get this blocked. This is a nightmare for them. But this is what happens. We've gotten past the point of race swapping fictional characters. Now it's gone so far as to attempt to race swap historical figures. Not the first time, but probably the most prominent one that we've seen so far. And of course, it came from Netflix. They are rightfully getting trashed over this, and it's only going to get worse as this thing continues to get closer to release. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.